in, and tailor-made for Jeremy McGovern to intercept.
Yeah, we've become used to that happening. Well protected by Tom Cole there as well. Just did enough to hold his opponent off him.
This game has swung quickly. North Melbourne were dominating, but West Coast have just made the most of their opportunities. 6 straight so far in the game.
Yeah, they've taken the most of their opportunities, definitely, but they've looked very dangerous when it's got into a dangerous position. Yes, they've kicked straight, but it hasn't been from goals that are easy.
No, it hasn't, and it's come from clearance. 7-3 this quarter. North Melbourne so dominant in the first. That's great.
That's what they brought Jack Graham into the side for. A defensive pressure around the midfield. Ferocious tackle to win the free kick.
I wonder if there was some feedback to Jack Graham at quarter time, because we didn't really see much of him. He's only had the 3 or 4 disposals, but his last 5 minutes have been huge.
Long ball goes into the pocket. Bailey Williams elevates. Kangaroos in defence. Calls handball wide to Sheasel. Cross half back. Well placed kick for Powell. They can run it now through McKercher. Feeds to Phillips at half-back. They've got options through the middle of the ground. Darling searching for it. Larky there too. Feeds it away. Got a player inside 50. Darling wanted to step Edwards. Thought better of it. They feed it back to Stevens. Stab pass back for Larky. He worked hard to get in a good position again. Still got players screaming for it inside 50. O'Sullivan wanted it in the pocket. He still wants it there. As they go wide instead to Darling.
Yeah, he was out. O'Sullivan a couple of times. They just couldn't get the ball to him.
Now they go across the grounds. Sheasel to McDonald's. Wide to Daniel. He's capable of finding a target by foot. Play on instead. Feed it to Lowe. Could put him into a bit of trouble. Back for Daniel, then to Phillips.
Just need to connect inside 50 here. They've composed themselves well, possessed the footy.
A lot of Eagles players back there trying to stop that from happening. Baker sits in the space. Didn't take the mark, knocked it down. Sheasel under pressure. Got it to his boot, but the breeze will hold it up. Jinby missed it initially, and then Cole is well within his rights to walk it over.
There wasn't a huge amount of movement, was there, in that forward 50 that flooded back very well. West Coast had rolled back and had plenty of numbers in there, but there wasn't enough movement in and out from some of those Kangaroos forwards. I think everyone just surrendered to the fact that it was going to be a long to the top of the square.
Well, when it takes that long, that's basically the only option, because the opposition just gets so much time to put numbers behind the footy.
McGovern with the kicking duties goes very long out to the wing. It's the contest there of Owies, and eventually taken over the line.
Yeah, once North Melbourne missed that first kick inside 50, it forced them into the possession game, which I actually liked. I thought they used the footy really well and they were calm. Yes, they don't connect inside, but they're at least set up behind the footy with that time it took them to move it in there.
Darling and Archer Reid in the ruck. Graham, Cripps, back for Graham. Sheasel's in there. Tackled strongly.
They're seeing these between the 50 arc stoppages. North are playing an equalised game, so they're not getting a loose behind. Clearly a part of their strategy is to keep numbers up around, get some midfield and stoppage dominance. Sheasel finding it down low. McKercher brushes off Harley Reid, gets it back again, and they try to generate some run, but the turnover opens the door for the Eagles. Ryan slipped it through to Owies. Tried to go and poke the kick off the left boot, but overcooked it. Coleman. He does that well, Coleman. He just reads the footy well, so he chopped off Harley Reid really late. Finds himself in good positions. That's why I like Jack Darling in this side. It allows him to play back more. Missed kick. Miss Scott. Hanson can send it long. Darling up the line. Read it nicely. It's also doing this well, providing a target in front of the footy. Experience, they want it into the side. Hanson provides the drive. And now to Zerha.
McGovern's by himself, so talk about that, those high half forwards getting up in around the contest and the stoppages, but
long into the pocket. McGovern trying to get there, knocked away from Larky. McKercher
Feeds it back to Scott. Now Daniel stepped around Ryan. Williams puts some pressure on, but good enough to execute the kick across to Tucker.
Just not a lot of movement. You can see that everyone's standing and pointing here.
Goes with a high ball. It holds up in the breeze. And McGovern again. They kick it straight down his throat, but he's so good in the air.
Well, he was the one that was free. We talked about it a bit this quarter. Scully picked it up. How a number of those players are getting up around the ball, but you just can't do that to Jeremy McGovern. He's going to eat that up all day.
Kick makes it tough, though, for Jaden Hunt. Well intercepted by Stevens.
You're going to see it again here.
They're just going to go high and long back into the hot spot. Carries over the back this time. Sheasel steps back through. Heard the voice. Across to Hanson Jr. and he steadies back for Powell. Well thought through, and they get a mark inside 50.
So that kick was, well, I would say, is off the line. So instead of going straight in between where the kicker was to the goal square, it was off the line enough and kicked it away from McGovern, and it actually changed the angle, which made it really hard for West Coast to get numbers there, and it creates this sort of opportunity, a little kick back inside. You're so well structured behind the ball, you're allowed to take a little bit more risk by going off the line with that inside 50.
His fifth season, Tom Powell. Every game last year finished fifth in the best and fairest. Helicopters away. Inaccurate afternoon so far at the footy for the Kangaroos.
It's the second or third connection inside 50 we've seen from Hanson Jr.
Yeah.
So he's had the 8 disposals, which sits him sort of in the top half of possession getters for North Melbourne. I've liked the way he looks. Just looks composed, smart.
Very composed, yeah.
She's leading the way for the Kangaroos with 16. Powell and Phillips both with 12. And for the Eagles, Jeremy McGovern's taken a few of the kick-ins. He's got 10.
They certainly stand out, though, don't they? Players that can...
Road coming across with a nice mark.
Players that can execute by foot, but make really smart decisions. They really change the momentum of where the ball's going, or momentum of a game. The one, if you get the ball and the great ball uses hands.
Powell want to go quickly with a switch out to Scott. Cripps. I want to just hassle him out of it. Happy enough to find its way to the boundary to get the throw-in.
Jamie Cripps, is he in your round one side? He's been such a good player for a long period of time for the Eagles, but you talked about a lot of those small forwards. Scully, is he getting the game round one?
Yeah, I think he is. He's still got the work rate in him. I don't think his role's ever been dictated by goals or touches. He plays a really sacrificial role effectively, so...
West Coast.
Watch his free kick. He's done that for a long time, so he'll be trying to teach the younger guys that. Really selfless player. I think he plays round one.
Jack Darling give away the free kick in the ruck there. Now it's Hoff taking them on with a run and a couple of bounces. He used to play in this area, grew up not far from here. As that tumbling kick goes inside 50. He's enjoying going for a gallop then, Brady Hoff.
Yeah, some serious wheels.
He played for Harvey Brunswick Leschenol. It's only about 15 minutes away from here. Grew up in Harvey. He and Clay Hall played together at that side in their junior days, both from the southwest. Clay Hall not in the squad today. It was an emergency. And Ruben Jimmy, the other one from the southwest around this area from down in Dunsborough in the Eagles side today. So Archer takes the mark inside defensive 50 for the Kangaroos. So 6 minutes till half time. We can see what mode these two teams go into as we head towards the major break.
Yeah, the breeze certainly dictating. The teams are kicking to the right of screen, very much dictating this type of ball movement, controlled, slow, and methodical, because the dump kick or the long kick down the line is just too hard to take and contest the mark and really defend behind.
Powell chip their way up to the wing.
Clear out! Outside 5!
Former Docker and
Clear
Tucker.
out! Get it on! Play on!
Cherry's the tall target up the line. Jinby did well to get up and then find it at ground level. Encouraged by the crowd to keep it going. Almost back with North Melbourne as they find the boundary line.
North have definitely, against the wind, gone into kick mark footy. We've seen it a number of times now. The whistle goes. Don't know what it's for, but... Okay. Look at those disposals.
Yeah, that highlights, doesn't it, the last 10 minutes, just how much they have been going kick mark and controlling that footy.
Yeah.
Is that in response to West Coast slamming on some quick goals? They just try to really take the
Bit of
sting
both.
out of it?
Yeah, a bit of both. Bit of momentum in the game, which they've wrestled back. Teams have got modes to go into, and they've gone into slow play effectively.
Oh, Allen on the boot, Ryan in front. It was a tough one to try to catch. Going through at pace, McDonald got it from Comben. Out of the back line, the Kangaroos poke it long. Cherry competes in the air, knocked down. Graham waiting for it. Good handball inboard, opens it up for Cole. High ball back into the hot spot. Bailey Williams wrestling, Comben across to help. Cripps trying to keep it alive. Scott's down there, tackled well. And a stoppage inside 50.
Oh, Allen's done a couple of really nice things just there, just on the wing here before he took the ball and exploded. You can mention it before, Sco, but sometimes you don't need to see a huge amount of a player to go, oh, there's something there.
Yeah. Reed trying to run through that stoppage as Flynn was in the run. Controlled by Powell. Thumps the kick long. Edwards back after it, opposed to Darling. Trying to control it to the boundary. Disguised it cleverly to see it out of play.
I'm hearing Bo Allen might have a healthy bit of swagger about him as a young man. I think he's knocking on the coach's door saying, how do I get a game round one? And I think we like that. As long as it sits in the right level, you want some confidence, healthy confidence. And he's doing well. He's out there at the moment.
When does it step the other side?
When you get dropped.
Reed, the handball over their head was the wrong option. Baker trying to make amends for it. Scott was in there for a second. Reed went back to find it. Feeds it forward but turns it over again. Daniel. Back for Stevens. Kangaroos to half forward. Zurha working hard. Hoff couldn't quite get there. Good mark to Zurha. 3.5 to play till half time. Sheasel now at half forward. Yeah, just in front of Allen. Go into the pocket. Great delivery. There's not much room to execute that kick, let alone keep it inside the field of play. And O'Sullivan can take the set shot.
Sheasel up to 18 disposals, Powell 17, McKercher 12. There's only one player with, one player at the Eagles that's only had more than 10 disposals, and that's McGovern. They're owning the footy at the moment.
It's going to be a tough shot at goal, this one.
Very comfortable out there. Finn O'Sullivan today, set shot. Goes across the face. Once the bodies collide, but in the end doesn't score, and Kelly can take the mark down there on the last line.
The wind was blowing straight out of the face of goal, so he sort of had to almost start it outside the boundary to bring it back into the wind.
I think we are starting to see, at least this quarter, you talked about at North Melbourne in that first quarter being so dominant and, being able to display exactly what they've trained across the summer period. We are starting to see the West Coast signature a bit here. Andrew McQualter.
Flynn went up in the ruck. Cherry able to take it. Daniel with the handball backwards. Tucker, Archer. Coolly done back to Tucker.
Well, I just like how composed North Melbourne look. We haven't seen a part in the game where it's looked like they're out of control. I know that West Coast had some momentum, but just in little moments like that, I know it's the second quarter of the pre-season, but they just look more composed at the moment.
Daniel switches it back to Load. Run and a couple of bounces. Now Stevens. West Coast press up. Affects the kick. It'll drop in a bit short. Zurha tried to knock Cole out of the way. Baker's in there. Phillips as well. And a high contact on Phillips.
They'll need to connect again before they go inside 50. Otherwise, it's going to be in a really turnover spot here.
Towards Larkey. Cole coughed it up. Stevens back to Sheasel. Not 15. Phillips is crushed in the tackle by Owies. The turnover. And now West Coast want to go quick. They haven't got much forward though. Waterman is the deepest of their forwards, and the kick went wide of him. So now North Melbourne again can control it.
It's this tackle, bottom right. Matt Owies heard the call. A bit of a sitting duck there.
The last thing Phillips wanted to hear was they're not 15.
Can't do anything in that situation.
There's Uniac quieter in this second quarter than he was in the first. The seconds tick down till half time.
So marks in this quarter, 32-2. North Melbourne's way. That is enormous.
Contrasting styles, isn't it? And we talked about that with Andrew McQualter and how that has been the signature this quarter for the Eagles.
Edwards back there. Jimby. It's that left boot. High ball. Bailey Williams to the air. Couldn't hang on long. Much time remaining. We'll open the door here for Ryan, but good defensive pressure at the end. Court played it well. It's not right off the line of the footy. Stopped them from getting inside 50 and potentially a scoring opportunity. And that will do it for the half. It was an 18-point lead to North Melbourne at quarter time. Hot conditions, plenty of players just searching for a bit of relief from the heat. 18-point lead it was at quarter time for the Kangaroos. West Coast turning it around in that quarter and now lead it by 3 at half time. Back with all the analysis with Kath, Pav and Scoey in just a moment. But of course, plenty coming up on Fox Footy as well. The midweek tackle crew, they're back March 11 with all the big headlines and breaking news.
Hello and welcome to the...
All right, there we go, folks. Half time here at Hands Oval in Bunbury in Western Australia. And of course, it's the Eagles, 6 goals straight, 36, leading North Melbourne Kangaroos 4-9-33. The Kangaroos, they're squandering a lot of their opportunities. Look at that, 9 behinds. If they had a kick straight, they'd be well ahead of the Eagles. But it's a hot day out there today. Both teams, as I said, looking for a little bit of shade. I'll be happy that half time has come so they can cool down a bit. Let's go and have a look at some of the goal scorers in the match so far. And, of course, Jake Waterman. There we go, Mr. Mullet. 3 goals straight there for the Eagles. The other goal scorers for the Eagles, all singles. Liam Ryan, Tim Kelly and Tyler Brock. And, of course, for the Kangaroos, Zohar, Scott, Nick Larkey and Paul Curtis. They're the goal scorers. Let's have a look and see who is the leading possession getter up till half time. Harry Sneasel out there for North Melbourne, 19 possessions, 8 kicks, 11 handballs, 3 marks, 3 tackles, 6 clearances. He's having a good game as normal. Here's Harry Sneasel. There we go. Tom Powell next best with 18. Will Phillips, Darcy Tucker, 13 and 12 with McKercher on 12 and Ukanaki on 12 as well. Look at that, about the top 8 players out on the ground. All Kangaroos, and of course the top players for West Coast possession-wise, McGovern in the back line and Gimby both with 10. Let's just roll down a little bit. Tim Kelly there with 9. We'll search a few of your players there. Jack Darling, he's still going around there. There we go. He's got 8 for the Kangaroos as we continue. Jake Waterman there, 5 kicks, as I said. 5 disposals, 4 kicks, 1 handball. He's got the 3 goals straight, so he's kicking on song there this afternoon. He's doing really well. One of the main assets there for the Eagles, as McGovern is in the back line. They're full back, full forward, doing strong down there. Jackson Archer, a little bit quiet there for the Kangaroos, just the 5 disposals, 4 kicks, 1 handball. Liam Ryan, also quiet there for the West Coast Eagles, just the 3 touches there for him. Let's just roll back up and we'll have a look at some of the team stats there as we come along. Let's just go back up. There we go. Let's have a look at the team stats, see what's happening there. And of course, as you can see, North Melbourne dominating disposals, even though the West Coast Eagles are leading 74 disposals, 30 kicks, and look at those discrepancy in the handballs where they absolutely blister handballs. North Melbourne in that second term, 49-93. Inside 50s, North Melbourne dominating there. 27-12, but Eagles making the most of those 12 inside 50s with 6 straight goals. North Melbourne only putting on 4 goals, 9. As I said, they need to kick a little bit straighter. They're giving away plenty of opportunities, squandering those. And if they do happen to lose this game, and that'll be the reason why. But all accounts, both teams playing well. North Melbourne going all right. 67-73 disposal efficiency around the grounds. Not too bad. Inside 50, not too bad for both teams at 58. Free kicks, well, nothing much in it there. 8 apiece. The hit-outs and clearances all pretty level. 17 apiece, 15-19. North Melbourne just ahead on the clearances there. Harley Reid needs to get into the game a little bit more contested. A little bit harder at the ball is North Melbourne. They're 15 up there, but uncontested. Just controlling the ball a little bit more was North Melbourne. Look at that, doubling, 59 to 127 North Melbourne, uncontested. You don't often see that in a game of footy. Turnovers, West Coast Eagles turning it over a little bit more. The marks, 27-55. North Melbourne had most of those in the second term, kept Eagles quiet there. Marks inside 50, North Melbourne doing it well, 8-3. Eagles will be looking forward to hitting up their leading forwards, opening the space up there and connecting with their forwards. North Melbourne shutting the Eagles down reasonably well. We have a look at the tackles there. Both teams tackling reasonably well. 38-31, tackles inside 50, 6 apiece. All right, let's head back down to the rooms and we'll hear a little bit of analysis from the commentators.
Something in that second quarter. They had the breeze behind them, kicking 5 goals straight to North's 1 goal 3 to lead by 3 points at the main break. Matthew Pavlich, Will Schofield, we're seeing contrasting styles. How do you sum up that first half?
I think that's well summarised, Kath. We can go. We've done our work. It's very contrasting. Yeah. So 41 marks to 9 in the midfield area. That's North Melbourne dominating the kick mark game and dominating possession. West Coast not able to find them really in transition. And you're right, the contrasting styles. Andrew McQualter's signature is already on this West Coast team. They're playing fast as handballs through the midfield, and it's not a lot of kick marks.
Yeah, it is, but I don't think defensively this is in the playbook for them. You can't let a team run around and have those sort of numbers through the middle of the ground, and we're starting to see some real dominance from North Melbourne. They're setting that up by what they're doing in the midfield, though, and that first quarter was great to watch. How clean they were, how strong they were inside, and I thought once they got footy in hand, they looked really composed, which at times, as this young team's coming along, you don't see the composure, but we have today.
Playing with the maturity, aren't they? 8,000 fans here at Hands Oval in Bunbury. A lot of West Coast fans, as you'd imagine, here in the southwest, and they're loving the work of Jake Waterman. 3 goals in the first half, really picking up where he left off in his All-Australian year.
Yeah, look at this guy. It's hard to believe last year he's kicked 51 goals or over 50 All-Australian representative, because he did come from a long way back. He was, I guess, asked to play the number 1 role with Oscar Allen being out of the side for a long period of time, Scully, and he's continuing on already in the early part of this year.
Well, he's not getting the supply either. I mean, inside 50s are extraordinarily in favour of North Melbourne this game, and he still kicked 3 goals, makes the most of his opportunities. But I think Oscar Allen back in this side changes how that looks, so we'll probably see more round 1, what that actual setup looks like.
What about the North Melbourne midfield and their dominance at time? As we've said, that they're playing with more maturity, but you use the word sharp a lot throughout the coverage, and it was so true. They just look sharp.
Certainly in the first quarter, though, incredibly sharp in around the ball. Their clearance work was incredible. Luke Davies, Harry Sheasel, McKercher, a lot of power as well has been important. It hasn't necessarily resulted in score in terms of scoreboard dominance. We talked about West Coast in that second quarter being very efficient when they go forward, but this is a decent midfield and it's really starting to grow.
If you're Alistair Clarkson, you'd take this over, kicking 6 goals straight and just making the most of every single. You'd rather the supply, you'd rather having to tweak goal kicking than you would inside stoppages. So I've been really impressed. I think the first quarter was something like 13-1 clearances, centre clearances 5-1. So really impressive from North Melbourne.
So where does it leave you to when we look ahead to round 1, knowing that North Melbourne will be playing the Western Bulldogs on Saturday night at Marvel Stadium, exclusive to Fox. You will only see this game on Fox Footy with our Super Saturday team. We've got all the new promos rolling out, don't we? How do you feel looking at North Melbourne v the Bulldogs, especially with the Bulldogs' growing injury list?
Yeah, I think right now that North will be licking their lips that there's a couple of big-name Bulldog players missing, and they're liking what they're seeing.
And West Coast, on the other hand, they've got a big challenge against the Gold Coast Suns. So we know they're going to be a better side. They'll be happy they're playing at home, but they'll be liking to play better than they are right now.
Yeah, West Coast hosting Gold Coast in the final match of round 1 at Optus Stadium. On the Couch returns Monday, as well as AFL 360. Brand new lineup. We've got Jack Rewalt in the hosting chair, along with Nathan Buckley, Jonathan Brown, Jordan Lewis, and the biggest name in the game, Lee Matthews.
Well, welcome back to the beautiful Southwest Hands Oval in Bunbury, where it is West Coast leading it by 3 points at halftime over North Melbourne. A match that has been dictated a fair bit by the breeze, which is blowing hard to the left-hand side of your screen. Melbourne dominating the first quarter. The Eagles hitting back in the second. Matthew Pavlich will Schofield will we see in this second half. And what are the two teams wanting to get out of the second half is the important question.
This is a huge second half for minutes, for momentum, for confidence ahead of round one. So both teams will be wanting to get through unscathed, clearly, from an injury front, but to make sure that the game plan and the message at halftime is adhered to.
Harley Reid and Powell going at it again. Cherry out of the ruck as we're underway. Amy Community Series, third quarter from here in Bunbury. Reid goes back in again. Jaden Hunt's there. Graham couldn't take it. Lost out of the tackle. Kelly was good to feed the handball in. Flynn tried to duck through a tackle. Just tumbles the ball forward. O'Sullivan was down there. They fight for it again. Kelly extracts it to Harley Reid. High ball, long ball, into the pocket. Waterman wrestling. Archer Reid knocked it back to his advantage. Able to be gobbled up by Waterman, who snaps another. Point. Across the face from Waterman. He thought he had it.
Let's keep an eye on that matchup. And what Waterman did so well was just continue to be on the move. Got him behind Corb, got him in front of him, and then he was the first to react once the ball hit the ground. He's looking really, really lively in this game, which is a great sign for Eagles fans at home.
First blemish on the score sheet for West Coast. He kicked 6 straight in the first half. Jack Waterman to kick 3 of those.
Archer Reid has a heap of possessions, 3 in fact, but he's got about 3 or 4 little palm downs. He's a smart player. They like him around the footy. At the moment, I think he's playing round 1, but still a lot to play out this game.
Yeah, it appears that Matt Flynn's been given the opportunity ahead of Bailey Williams to lead the ruck, and Archer Reid's the one that has been doing some good things in the forward half, but also in the backup ruck.
Matt Flynn's found games tough to come by with injury. Really right the way through his career, trying to cement that spot down as that ball is knocked out of play. It took him 6 years to debut Matt Flynn. He played 12 games, 9 games, and then just the 4 last year. Injured pre-season and played a month through the middle part, but really struggled to get going. He's a crucial part of the Eagles midfield. Got his hands to it there and knocked it down to Baker. High ball up inside 50. O'Sullivan certainly showing some class out there.
Talk about Matt Flynn earlier, perhaps you're right. He was an important part of that second quarter turnaround from the Eagles. North Melbourne just dominant in the first quarter with clearance work, but on top they had 5 more and scored 3 goals from stoppage in that second quarter. So it's an interesting discussion, and I'm sure we even heard Andrew McQualter pre-game. He's like, we're still not quite sure what exactly our mix looks like, whether it's Matt Flynn, whether it's some of the midfield group. With a blood rule here.
Coming off, cut to the eye.
Saw O'Sullivan go back with a flight there. He sort of looks like he's rotating through that half-back. We've seen Sheasel and McKercher do that. He might be the third part of that triangle come round 1 for North Melbourne, which I like. He's looked very good with ball in hand.
He's a talent, there's no question of that. And if he can add to that midfield mix that the Kangaroos have, we mentioned them a couple of times, but Luke Parker, of course, as well, the other one that's not playing today. Important experience to this group.
Harley Reid trying to compete in the air. Davies Uniacke was strong. Got it to McKercher. Stevens crunched by Hoff in a tackle.
I think West Coast will be looking for more energy around the ball. Lacked that in the first half.
Graham. And loses it out over the boundary. Phillips get patched up quickly. New jumper you'd expect and be back out there.
Liquid nails or something going on the eyebrow there. Just hold it all together.
Reid tumbled with McKercher off the ball. Spills clear off. Back into some trouble. McGovern couldn't hang on to it. Darling goes back in. Hoff's trying to hold it in underneath him and earns the free kick. I'm sure Darling had it then, and Hoff was able to reach around and actually hold the ball to Darling, and umpire couldn't quite spot it. Graham out to Jaden Hunt with some run and carry. Dash to send it up towards the 50. Ryan wanted it, but it was just out in front too far and over the boundary.
Yeah, first time really seeing that breaking the lines run from West Coast. Jaden Hunt's going to play a big part in that this year for them. They're pretty locked in on that wing, I think. They love the run he gives both offensively and defensively.
Oops, in there battling with Powell, and will earn a free kick.
Won't make the distance from here, I don't think. Very, very windy out there at half-time. I think you'd be looking to pass off, or at least put to the top of the square.
Waterman's giving a couple of leads into the pocket. They try to go with a short pass. Ryan, they wanted the connection, but intercepted well by David Junior.
Yeah, they were onto it when North are looking for that short pass. Idea was right from Cripps. There was good movement from both Ryan and Waterman.
Darling presents up well in front of McGovern.
And a nice kick through the middle of the ground.
Overlap handball to Daniel. A couple of the new recruits combining. And the young gun in Sheasel. Fire trucks cruising past in the background. Here in Bunbury is a long kick towards goal, goes across the face. Another missed opportunity for the Kangaroos. Zerha wanted it. Sort of half a shot at goal, half a pass, and in the end of behind.
Like that movement through the middle of the ground. LDU firing one into Darling and then getting in the ball, uses hands in Sheasel and Daniel. They'll like that. They don't want to go slow. I mean, they've outmarked West Coast a stupid amount today, but I don't think they'll want to play like that all the time. They're just sort of taking what the opposition's giving them a little bit.
Particularly with the breeze, they're taking a few more risks, going a bit quicker. A bit more penetration on the ball as compared to that second quarter when they were into the breeze, just increasing that kick mark game.
Reid off a good hit out from Flynn. Able to send it to half forward. Archer Reid, strong hands. He took him up just before Scully.
Well, that's what they like about him.
And the run and overlap goes to Kelly, who drives it inside 50. Poor entry kick in the end. Couldn't find Waterman. They're able to mop it up, though. Jack Graham wobbles one off the left. Tucker, tackled by Ryan. Had support from McDonald's. Out to McKercher. Should escape out of defence. North Melbourne. Long kick to half-back. Darling and McGovern wrestle, go at each other. McGovern with a good tackle. And just lingered too long. And so the free kick will come back to Jack Darling. Now a little bit of spirit being felt in the game. Zerha in and under, as you'd expect. Harley Reid in there.
Back on.
That's strange for you watching Darling and McGovern battling there, Scully.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out who it was. That was Jack Darling. Yeah, it is. They've had a lot of contests, on the training track. Have a look at this. Probably held on because it was Jack, to be honest.
Just trying to make him earn it a little bit more. Here's Cherry with the footy. Larkey wants it deep. Sheasel cruises past. Larkey into the pocket. Sheasel lets it fly from 50. Sublime from Harry Sheasel.
As soon as you saw the hand pass, we looked at each other and went, that looks like a goal, because he was cruising by it. He wasn't even really running that quickly. He had a nice bit of space in front of him, and he's a fantastic young footballer, Harry Sheasel. Hearing that he does a lot of things off the field in terms of his diet and his program that has always been at the elite level, really wants to become one of the elite players in the competition. Sublime finish.
Well, the midfield's just done what they have liked here for North today. Sheasel's had 22 at a goal. Tom Powell, 18. Sort of shot on goal. LDU at 15. That's compared to basically nothing on the other side. Tim Kelly's had 13. Jimby, who's in the back line. Jack Graham's had 11. Not much in the midfield for West Coast.
Averaged almost 30, kicked 14 goals last year. Harry Sheasel has made a huge impact in a short space of time. Only a couple of seasons into his career. There's Phillips back out there after being patched up. Feeds it wide to Stevens. Into the pocket, Zerha McGovern there, but it carries over the back to Curtis.
That's really well read. A smart, small forward, understanding where the ball was going to drop the extra carry, and he was right there once it cleared the McGovern contest.
Kangaroos taking advantage of that breeze in this quarter. Not some reward on the score sheet though from set shots. They have been a bit wayward. Been able to connect very well at all, and Curtis puts that one across the face.
I said at half-time, I know it's not ideal for North to be missing these shots, but if this is the biggest problem they come out of it, I think they're going to be happy with it. You can rectify, you can put time into goal kicking, the connection and the time in forward half has been elite, and they'll be really happy with it.
It's this type of play here. So this is a turnover effectively in the attacking mid-range or region, and they've had 17 turnovers. So the pressure on the ball has been fantastic, but it's their setup behind the ball that's been first class as well.
Zerha almost able to take it. Hansen in the pocket. Twisting and turning, trying to find its way back to Curtis, who tapped it through his opponent's legs almost, then lost a handle. Now holding the ball to call. Eagles want to play on quickly. Jimby to Jaden Hunt. Up the line, made it tough for Ryan. Knocked down by Lowe. Ryan kept his feet though, and able to escape with the football. The bounce didn't come back to him. Bit of pre-season footy at its best as he gets tackled over the line.
He was off to the races. Lost a boot in the process, I think, Liam.
It was all going on.
Yeah, bounced a little higher than he was used to, and then, yep, see you later, boot.
They were saying to his teammate, lead up to me instead.
Still doesn't have his boot on, Liam. He's gone to the forward pocket with one boot.
Ball out of play.
Right, Jeff.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Triple knot.
Yeah.
Have to get that undone.
Matt. Tristan.
Griffin Lowe not giving him a lot of space to put it on either.
You tried to knock it away then too. Very
rascal, key defender type behaviour there, Griffin.
Expect nothing less.
Jimby.
He's going to throw it down.
He's gone for a hanger.
With one boot on.
He's got a free kick.
So this might give him some time. He's going to go retrieve his boot though.
You can see the boot. Harley Reid's got it now. Here it comes. Look out.
Almost threw it on his head. Laces it out as he goes to undo his laces. Now Jaden Hunt sends it into the forward pocket. Plenty up and in there. Brockman giving chase. Archer attacked it well. Stevens swallowed up by a couple. Archer, Phillips, Archer, chain of handball. Scott, bang! Big bump from Jack Graham, throwing his body weight around right there, sitting Scott on his backside and knocking the wind right out of him.
It's going to be an interesting one. This one, Scott's up again. So the umpire's giving a free kick.
Yeah, he's fine. He's up and moving, but
He was standing still.
be so careful when you elect to bump. You watch here. I mean, it looks clean, but you only have to be just off and you're in big trouble.
Inside 50 slide by Griffin Lowe.
such a fine line, isn't it? Because the coaches and your teammates want that sort of hard
Physicality.
the physicality, but at the same time, it costs you a game.
Now the Kangaroos have some open space ahead. Curtis is there. Allen giving chase. The ball just didn't sit up for Curtis nicely. Allen able to worry him out of it. Curtis still going hard. The numbers are right. McGovern's in there.
Well played
back
by
in underneath.
Bo Allen there. Scully, he was out of position and then was able to get body.
You got to keep your feet. That's basically number one priority. If you go to ground, it's all over. Goal. Did well. When you're one-on-one with that, it's a quick player.
Please do not do that again. Thank you.
There's a fair bit of
Is there ever?
Colourful language.
language going on and a fair bit of talk going in through there.
Roll out. Keep the meter, lads. Keep the meter. Push out. Keep the meter and push out.
Okay. I think I heard.
Law and getting things back underway.
Play on.
Stevens able to flick it away. Sheasel retreats back to Daniel. Right back to Stevens. Now Davies Uniac's still down there for North Melbourne. Jinby is after it. Tough one to get away. Not moving all that well, Davies Uniac.
There might be a bit of cramp. He was just trying to stretch out his legs. Let's hope that's all it is. He's staying out there.
Very hot out there today.
Cherry knocked it down. Zerha was touched off the boot. Goes through for another behind for the Kangaroos.
Clear it out.
It's a really tight game in terms of what's happening on the scoreboard, but if you were just watching this game and not thinking about the score, it would feel as though North have been the more dominant team, but I think if you're Andrew McQualter and his coaching staff, you're pleased that there's enough signs here that, particularly into the breeze, that that style and that change in game plan is being implemented.
Yeah. I mean, 17 scoring shots to 7 is an issue, and consistent turnovers like this coming out, especially against the wind.
And it's straight back to the Kangaroos. Scott's got the footy at half forward. He's going to send it into the hot spot. Larky's down there, too many to beat. Again, tailor-made for Jeremy McGovern.
Yeah, that's the straight down the line kick you're talking about, Pav. You need to take it off it to put McGovern out of his comfort zone.
Yeah, just a slight angle on the kick.
Now they get some transition footy off on the burst. There's a 2-on-2, 4 to the footy. Archer Reid was up. Lowe did well to spoil. O'Sullivan, Davies Uniacke. And now they can go through the corridor. The Kangaroos, they are out if they handball their way through. Phillips will send it wider instead. Out to Larky. Hanson was waiting for it for an age. Inside the centre square is now pushed forward to the 50. And they can chip it over the top. West Coast not getting back into position in time as the Kangaroos cut them up, going back the other way, and Powell's got the footy.
So if you do go quick and you turn it over, you do need to, as West Coast did on that last play, you have to cover the corridor, but they were just out everywhere, the Kangaroos.
I didn't see it was a give in the middle of the ground. It's a quick give. You get held up there, the play's over, you just got to go.
Tom Powell having a big afternoon on the stat sheet. Can they get a score from a set shot? He sees that one whip around with the wind, but he does convert Trawley.
He's had a very good afternoon, as Tom Powell, 19 disposals, a couple of clearances. Harry Sheasel, very, very good as well for North. A number of those key midfielders. Here's the turnover, and you talked about it. So looking board, go quick. The kick from Davies Uniacke was the right one.
It's this one here.
Yeah, Harry Sheasel, bang. Play on, keep the ball moving, keep it in motion, and then they were just out everywhere here. You can make it up as you go. We talked about the foot skills and the composure. They've done it well today, the Kangaroos.
It's Hanson Jr. again.
Yeah, again.
He's connecting. It's the hardest kick in footy.
Yeah.
Bringing it out of your back line, yes, and the really penetrating goals through the middle, but yeah, that one connecting inside.
Building up towards round one, the Kangaroos have got the Bulldogs at Marvel Stadium. You can see that one more of an exclusive on Fox Footy. Bulldogs with a few injury concerns as well so far through this pre-season, more than a few really, and the Kangaroos trying to build towards that. They'd love to get the season off to a good start with a win. There's O'Sullivan into McKercher. Swinging the ball wide. Out to Hanson again, who provides an option.
He's moved really well. He's been in the right spots, and Scully, you've talked about it a couple of times, but his ball use has been elite.
Yep. Season draft pick in 2023. Darling cops a free kick. Going over the shoulder of Archer Reid.
So this is Darling as the backup ruck. That's why Archer Reid's on him. With Cherry off the ground.
Tika in the squad today, but we haven't seen him playing too many minutes just yet. Jimmy trying to pop that one over the top. Sheasel trying to claim it in the middle of the pack. Too many hands on it. And get a ball up.
Yeah, I really like Jack Darling as the backup ruck. You'll see him here compete for this one. Just needs to make a contest.
Reid knocked it down. McKercher, though, can swing it goalwards. And through for yet another behind.
Yeah, interesting tactic from Alistair Clarkson and the Kangaroos. I guess it makes it a faster running team or a more agile and I guess adaptable team.
We don't have to play, Jack Darling's a forward. And if you can just chop Tristan Cherry out for 5 minutes a quarter, you've got one of the best rucks in the league running around doing his thing, and then Jack can just chop him out. That's another string to their bow. Can play smaller, running.
Duggan up the line. Cripps just came off the bench, tried to crunch into it. Sullivan tried to step Brockman. Archer feeds a handball back. Got themselves into a bit of trouble, North Melbourne. Archer Reid getting in there. Couldn't get clear initially.
And West Coast, on the other hand, with their ruck situation, Archer Reid is the backup with Flynn now back out there. So you'd be expecting better than that, though, from your number one ruck.
It's good work by Darling to shove Flynn out of the way and get the hit out. Comben. Too much on it for Sheasel. Graham again, just playing the enforcer role for West Coast. Giving it to the young superstar.
Rex. Jack. Yeah, hang on, wait. You push on.
More boot issues for players out there.
It's very kind of the umpire.
Jack
Just to wait.
Yeah. Still there to do that. Pressure's on. Luke swoop ball. The bunny is going. And the double knock. Well executed from Jack Darling.
Okay, well done. Pay attention, kids.
All spun back in. Darling in the ruck again competes well. Davies Uniac with strength, able to almost extract it. Well knocked away by Brockman, but gamble by Graham. Too much on it for Duggar, has to go back and retrieve it. Tumbles a kick to the pocket, gains some territory, gains some ground, gets a boundary throw in the right forward pocket.
Late in the third term, or just over halfway through the third term, I should say, you just start to think of minutes and managing time. Scully, just looking at a few of the players in the midfields for both teams, just wonder how much Harley Reid might play. We know he was on managed minutes last week. Some of these North Melbourne midfielders have been really sound.
A strong tackle from Graham in there again, but the Kangaroos able to handball out of trouble. Coleman took an eternity to get rid of it, but did well to try to find a target. McGovern with a good spoil on Larky. Dewar, haven't seen too much of. Injected into the game. Owies is up. Sullivan. That's a handball out. Waterman wanted a high tackle, went down low. Cool with a tackle.
Matt, Tristan.
He's in and under. Fell forward and earned himself a free kick for a push in the back.
Saw Johnny Cripps in this position a little earlier.
Going to go across to Duggan.
Strong wind blowing into the face here, so this will need to be top of the square or connect.
Short pass, wouldn't have been the 15. Trying to get it back to Owies. Duggan. Across. Hutchinson. Baker. Tackle without it. Free kick to the Eagles at the top of the 50.
And no long, nice little lead. Missed it though, the connection.
Baker will drive it deep. Flynn in best position, and he's got it. The big body down there resting forward. Ruckman can have an impact inside 50.
The kick held up in the breeze, but it was a good kick because it just allowed the big ruckman Matt Flynn to run onto the ball as compared to just being kicked on his head. A little chip kick in there, the breeze helped, and then there, Flynn's able to get some separation and come at the ball rather than just having to wrestle the whole time.
Matt Flynn want to put his name forward, put his hand up to lead the ruck in round one. And he'll do that if he can kick goals inside 50 as well.
Well, it's a big goal. That position between Flynn, between Williams, both of them, Jack, who we haven't seen today yet, and Archer Reid, there's probably, with Oscar Allen back in the side, room for two of them. So as much as this is a goal in a pre-season game, taking a mark at the top of the square effectively, go back and kick it, it actually, for, I don't want to say fringe player, but someone who's fighting for a spot, it means more than just a goal to maybe it means to Jake Waterman or someone who's guaranteed and locked in. So be really happy with that. This is the first month of footy for West Coast. Pretty tough, to be honest. Gold Coast, Brisbane, Freo and GWS, and you expect all of those to be competing for finals this year.
So the margin just closes up again. This AMI Community Series match in Bunbury at Hands Oval. Certainly been efficient when they've gone inside 50 West Coast. Kangaroos now through Davies Uniac. Tackled by Harley Reid. Just held it a bit too long, even though he's just about to get it away. Dewar sends it wide. The outside of the footy, Archer just professionally fumbling that one away to make sure it goes over the line.
I like that Dewar's been injected into this. They really like his pace, his carry. Perhaps we called the Richmond practice game and saw him kick a goal with a couple of bounces from 60.
Almost took two mark of the year contenders as well.
So we just had a word to him and said, just calm down, not in the off-season.
Save it.
He's exciting and they like him.
McKercher, Sheasel, Logue, crunched, and then Reid went over the top as well. High contact to call. Hutchinson was laying the tackle and Reid just a little overzealous coming back in the other way. Took Griffin Logue high.
He can do that a bit, can't he, Harley Reid? Just every now and then, just give away a free kick when the opponent was already wrapped up.
Flynn competing on the wing, close to Cherry. Scott in there. Flynn going in hard after it again. Zerha on the boot up towards Larkey. And did well to turn and mark that last second. Not an easy thing to do.
Thanks, stand there. Push out here, stay this way. Thank you, push
There's
out.
some heavy pressure from Harry
That's
Edwards.
great, Mark. Yeah, really, really impressive. And again, not underestimating how difficult that is because Harry Edwards, big, strong lad that he is, had a better position on him, but he was able to manipulate that position and then take a strong mark.
He'll have the distance here. Needs to go back and give it a bit of height, though.
Yeah, great. Look at it here. Starts it out to the left, drawing it back. Gave it a fair bit of height. Behind the result.
So he had a kick from the same distance, but on the other side of the ground, and he got his technique all out of the place.
Didn't he?
Yeah, but that was a beautiful kick. Just started in the wrong spot.
20 scoring shots now for the Kangaroos. It's the 8 for West Coast. It's a 7-point game. Up the line, Waterman was the target. Fans, Donald Core in there.
Well, we saw Collingwood just earlier on in this pre-season service. I think they were 19 goals won or something like that. So North Melbourne could easily be that and it'd be all over. Shows the importance of kicking straight through the big sticks, Pav.
Eagles to kick with the wind in this final quarter. It's coming up shortly. Harley Reid trying to bounce off too many. Caught holding the ball.
David Uniac was called for it prior, only a few moments ago, so happy with that call. That's the right one if the umpires have been consistent.
Yep.
Kircher turns it over. He was wanting Sheasel, but Jack Hunt up to meet it. Over the top to Harley Reid. He's only got Ryan ahead, so feeds the handball back inside to Baker. Squeezes a kick cleverly to Long. They're out the back here. Archer Reid darting towards the goals. Can take the mark. He could go over the top to Owies. But North Melbourne get back to control that, and Archer Reid can take it. Good intercept from Jaden Hunt at half-back to set it up.
Yeah, really good from Hunt, but also from Reid. Just pause for a moment rather than blazing away. That handball inside was a crucial one. Set up this shot at goal.
And Baker's kick. Just again, could have blazed, pulled it short, gave him the opportunity to connect inside 50.
Looks a prospect. Archer Reid, just 19 years of age, kicked 17 goals in 15 waffle games last year. He thuds that one into the post.
That was doing plenty of work. That was making its way right across the face of goal.
Wouldn't like to be facing that one.
Shalbaktar sort of areas, swinging it right in.
Play on! Bit 2.
Long ball to the wing. Easy. In some field position with a breeze at your back. Duggan knocks it back. Flynn just had initial fumble, made it tough, and then Cole taken high.
Thanks, Jack. No, he's getting the ball. Stand there.
Darling with plenty to say. Give you up the free kick. Cole will take it.
West Coast don't want to go backwards,
No.
at all.
And they're not really looking for that kick in between, are they? It has been, when it's been a slow play in between the arcs, a lot of the time it's been this sort of kick down the line, take the contest on, and then get numbers there. Clearly, Andrew McQualter has that type of territory mindset, keep the ball moving forward in mind. We've seen that as a real change from where West Coast have been previously.
Kristen.
Sidelines. Treading back into the shade. Warm conditions in Bunbury today. Heat policy in effect, so slightly longer breaks for the teams. Cherry slapped that one down. Cole across the metre, almost taken high again. In fact, he was. 2 in a row.
Thank you.
I really liked how North Melbourne's been set up behind the footy for most of the game today. They've taken 15 intercept marks from opposition kicks to 11 from West Coast, and the 11 from West Coast, Aaron McGovern's got 4 of them. We know he's going to do that. It's a nice spread from North Melbourne throughout the game.
Cherry in best position. Crunched into by two of the Eagles' big bodies there in Flynn and Bailey Williams, and you'll get the free kick.
Seen that a lot as well. They're in the right spot a lot of the time. Might get a free kick or at least bring it to the front.
Called a play. I must have stepped off the line there. Cherry wasn't quite aware of it to start with. McKercher sent it long. Sheasel trying the body work on Cole. Boundary line looms. Curtis taken high. So the free kick will come back to the Kangaroo.
Yeah, that one was there. First contact was high as he drove through the footy. This will take every bit of it.
I think he's got it in him. He's just trying to move some furniture on the side there, but I think he's got it in him. That with this breeze left to right, started just outside the left.
Almost in the queue for Mr. Whippy down there in the pocket. As he opens it up, and it'd be a great effort from there. Curtis showing all the skills from the tight angle. Little thumbs up as well. Enjoying his work in the pre-season here in the southwest.
Great finish.
Talk us through it, Pav.
And he played it so well. Rearranged the furniture. Got an ice cream as well, and he's way through. He was in the. It's a bit of a dangerous tackle there to a certain extent, but nothing too bad. But look, you can just see he started it perfectly outside the goal face and just let the wind do the rest. He enjoyed it.
Someone was
be quiet.
Yeah, someone was giving a little bit of feedback, I think, telling him he probably didn't have it in him, but you knew.
He wanted the double scoop, not the single scoop.
Not unexpected, a bit of verbal from the Bunbury crowd coming over the fence. But he certainly had the last laugh with a great finish from the pocket. And right on the stroke of three-quarter time as well.
Yeah, a little bit of game state here. Archer Reid on the wing. Just out of screen, heading back.
That'll do it to end the third term. A real highlight to finish. Dominated in terms of the score sheet and scoring shots, but still tied it up. West Coast with the breeze in the final quarter. We'll see if they try to pin the ears back and roll over the top in the final quarter. That is coming up next here at Hands Oval in Bunbury. And coming up, of course, returning on Monday night, a new look 360 returns.
Yeah, it's probably.
All right, there we go. Three-quarter time here, and the Kangaroos, they've hit the front. They lead by 12, 7-14, 56. Eagles 7-2, 44. 3 goals, 5 in that third term for the Kangaroos. They're still kicking a little bit wayward. Well, they held the Eagles just to 1 goal, 1, which was a fantastic effort there by North Melbourne. As I said, North Melbourne do look the better team on the day, but they're just trying to get through this game unscathed, just get a good hit out, get a feel of the ball, get a bit of a touch. All set for round 1, which starts next Thursday night. Should be an absolute ripper. Round 1 of the 2025 AFL Premiership season. We've got one more game coming up tomorrow in the pre-season over there in Perth. Fremantle playing, I think they're playing Melbourne, so it should be another fantastic game on tomorrow. Let's just head over. See on the goal scorers, anyone keeping track of the goal scorers in this game? And of course, Jake Waterman still on 3 goals. Paul Curtis has 2 there for the Kangaroos. Zerha, Sneasel, Scott, Powell, Larkey are the other single goal scorers there for North Melbourne. And of course, for the West Coast Eagles, Jake Waterman there tops the table with 3. Liam Ryan, Kelly and Flynn with Brockman rounding it out, all with singles. Let's have a look and see who the leading possession getter is on the ground. Of course, Harry Sneasel continues that great form of his. He's leading the way with 25 touches, 6 ahead of anyone else on the ground. 11 kicks, 14 handballs, 5 marks, 3 tackle, 7 clearances, and he's kicked a sausage roll. That's right. He's kicked a goal, Harry Sneasel. He's having a great game there for the Kangaroos. I think the Kangaroos will be very happy, the coach and supporters, what they're seeing from them in this game today, and looking for an improved season from the Kangaroos this year. Tom Powell next best with Colby McKercher and Lucas Ukanaki on 19 there for the Kangaroos. Will Phillips 17, Finn O'Sullivan 16. That rounds out the first half a dozen top players on the ground, all coming from North Melbourne. Of course, Tim Kelly and Jake Graham lead the way for the West Coast Eagles, both with 16 on the table. Caleb Daniel there, the former Bulldog, great pickup there for North Melbourne, of course. He's had 16 possessions, 9 kicks, 7 handballs. He's had 3 marks, 3 tackles. He's a little gun. Is Caleb Daniel, looking for a good season from him too. Jerry McGovern, 14 with Gibney. Let's head on down. We'll just keep scrolling. You can have a look at your good players. Jack Darling there with 11. Harley Reid, there's one interesting player. He's just taken a little bit easy there today. He's only had the 10 touches, 3 kicks. He's had 7 handballs though. Of course, he's laid a couple of tackles and a couple of clearances, which is good news. I think as the season goes on and progresses, Harley Reid will become one of the stars of the 2025 season, especially there for West Coast. That's definitely who they've sort of built the team around, and looking for a big season from Harley Reid. There we go. Just a quick look at the team stats before we get back down to the ground. For the bounce of the ball for the final term, still North Melbourne there by 76 disposals overall. 26 on the kicks, 50 in the handballs, inside 50s. North Melbourne still dominating there by 16. 21-37, 9 scoring shots for 21 for Eagles. And of course, 21 scoring shots for the inside 37. So not too bad there for North Melbourne, going at 62% inside 50 efficiency. Free kicks 15-18, all pretty even there. And of course, the hit-outs and the clearances all pretty tight there as well. North Melbourne just on top in the hit-outs, 24-32. They're +8 in that section. The clearances are all pretty well even. Looking at the uncontested possessions, of course, North Melbourne had a great big lead there at half-time. Pretty well steadied the ship, the Eagles. A little bit in that third term. Still, it's a big margin. Keepings off, North Melbourne were playing there, 96-172. Turnovers, of course, North Melbourne a lot cleaner with the ball here, only with the 29 turnovers. West Coast Eagles, 48. They need to do a little bit better there. But as we said, this is the pre-season game. The real game starts next week, where we play for the premiership points. Coming up next week, as I said, it all starts next Thursday evening. Should be fantastic. All right, we're going to be back down to the ground in just a moment. But there's the score. 3/4 time as the Kangaroos by 12, 7-14-56. Can they kick a little bit straighter in this term? We'll just have to find out in a moment. Eagles 7-2. The Eagles have done a good job kicking pretty direct as this game's progressed, even though they haven't had too many opportunities like North Melbourne. You've got to make the opportunities when they count. 12 points is only 2 goals. That can be kicked in a matter of a couple of minutes, so we will see what unfolds in the final term here. We'll be back in just a moment for the bounce of the ball for the final quarter, where it's North Melbourne leading the Eagles by 12 points.
Quarter coming up, it's North Melbourne leading it by 12 points. We get down to Kath Lockman with Eagles assistant Luke Shuey.
Yes, I got Luke Shuey alongside me. We've been trying to suss out the Andrew McCalter signature all afternoon. What's been working? What perhaps hasn't been quite coming off in terms of what you practiced in the pre-season?
Yeah, it's all still really new, so we're going to be inconsistent at times. Our first hit out against in a real sort of game, so we've seen some inconsistencies, but we've seen some really good stuff as well, being able to play with some speed. We've corrected our contest stuff after quarter time, so got ourselves back in the game, give ourselves a chance to win.
Hot conditions, 2 weeks out from round 1. Does managing minutes start to become a bit of a factor in this last quarter?
I wouldn't have thought so. The boys have had a big summer. We're reasonably fit, so if they can play a full game, they will, but I think if there's risk mitigation needed, we'll probably take it.
So a quick word with you and Harley Reid. What did you have to say?
Just told him to kick goal of the year from centre bounce again for us. See what happens.
Small ask. Thanks, Luke.
Okay.
Given a licence to go in this final quarter.
Not a bad thing to be said from your coach, is it? Go and kick goal of the year for us.
At least he's honest.
Like it.
Well, we see the Eagles try to pin the ears back a little bit in this final term. North Melbourne have dominated this. The Eagles probably shouldn't be as close as they are. It's a 12-point lead, but they will be kicking with a breeze in this final term as we're underway again. AAMI Community Series from Bunbury in the southwest. As Hutchinson into the middle of the grounds. Diving on top of the footy initially, and then it's locked up.
Melbourne player has it now. Back in this way.
West Coast are kicking to the scoring end.
Go on this way.
I'm sure it'll go down as one of the great wins I've ever seen if they do happen to win it. Win's a win, though.
Baker, after the Kangaroos have been so strong at it all day, just haven't been able to finish it off in front of goal. Here's Hoff. Extra carry on the footy, kicking to that end. Just fell short of Waterman, though. Bouncing footy, O'Sullivan battling with Brockman. Just knocked it back into the path of Comben. They might handle their way out of trouble. O'Sullivan, Tucker, back for Comben. Goes sharply with a kick to half back, and Larky a long way up the ground.
Gee, that was nice from O'Sullivan back there. He fought, he kept his feet, tapped it to a teammate, had some composure.
Talk about the win before. Both of these teams have been had obviously some lean years. You think 8 wins over the past 3 years for North Melbourne, 10 wins over the past 3 years for West Coast. So, yes, it's a pre-season game. Yes, they'll be managing minutes, but winning culture can't put a price on how important it is when the teams have been bereft of wins for a long period of time.
For Harry, thank you. Stand.
Bit of confusion as to who the free kick was for, but it will go to Harry Edwards. This was just the 5 wins last year. They won in 10 games across the last 3 years. For the Kangaroos, it's been a long time down the bottom of the table, but they've got some young stars in this lineup. Archer takes a good mark there, but then turns it over in a terrible position, long, and no one inside 50, so he just has to wait for something to present. And chip it in short. It was over the head of Reid. Dewar there too. Well played by Tucker. Able to take it out of defence. Neither side retaining the football all that well. That's an interesting looking tackle from Duggan. A free kick. Go to Constantin.
It was well done by Noah Long to intercept that inside kick from Archer, but we haven't seen enough of that, have we, Scully, where West Coast have been sort of on their heels. They haven't been able to defend these short kicks, and a lot of uncontested marks in between the arcs for North Melbourne.
Scott will send it long. Carrying over the pack. Larky working hard backwards. Edwards able to gather. And then to Duggan.
Yeah, it's well said. It's 41 marks to 11, something like that in the second quarter, which is the last kick this direction. West Coast won't want that again.
Duggan goes long. Waterman there, and Core able to spike it away.
Because with the fast footy that West Coast want to play, you got to defend that way too. You can't go fast defensively and then just jog around defensively. It's a high-paced game that they're trying to play. Where North Melbourne, they're sort of getting it, taking their time, picking their way through it.
Yeah, particularly into the breeze, it's been their MO, hasn't it been?
Harley Reid went through without it. McKercher has been good today. Davies Uniac, Sheasel, some of the names that you expect to feature pretty strongly for North Melbourne this season. Sheasel with 27 touches. McKercher with 22. Davies Uniac with 20, leading the way this afternoon for their team. And O'Sullivan just building into his work.
So both of these teams down the bottom, we talked about it, the lack of wins over the past 3 or 4 seasons for both teams. What's a realistic expectation if you're a North fan, Scully? Do you think they can maybe challenge for the top 8, or are they still got some time for these young players to pop?
I think...
Good mark by Hansen under some heavy physical pressure from Jimby.
I think best case, yes, they can challenge for finals. Yeah, they can. Just like any team, everything's going to go right. You're going to win 12, 13, 14 games to play finals. So that's what that means.
Ball forward. And some cramping badly behind play after taking that kick. Reid cleverly knocks it to Dewar. To Jimby. Back for Dewar. Some run and carry. Hutchinson over the top to Brockman. Back to Dewar. The run continues. The build-up is good towards Waterman. Good spoil from Kurt. Dewar involved yet again. Now to Ryan. Some run and gun from the Eagles, but Ryan bucked off his kick last second. The Kangaroos recover.
Didn't end up in a goal, but that's what Andrew McWalter would love to see.
Dewar certainly a big instigator of that passage of play. Involved in this second half. Edwards. Back to Jaden Hunt. Some space opening up. Fatigue certainly was set in this last term. And Baker finds Ryan. Logue just went on with it a touch, but gets away without not giving away a 50 with a wry smile on his face. And Ryan will go back for the set shot. Some more of those efforts from defenders back there, Scully.
Yeah, which are terrific. We love them. Just enough to be not crossing the line. That's exactly where you want to live as a key defender. But it's live or die by the sword, because one more step and then you're on the phone to Alistair Clarkson after you've given a 50 away, and it's a goal from the goal line.
So Ryan kicked a goal in the second quarter, and he's done that to perfection. Put it right across the face and let the breeze do the work. Blew it back through, and the Eagles close the gap in the final term.
I've turned the clearance and contest game around. We heard from Luke Shuey at the three-quarter time break. Not a great execution there from Nick Lucky. Not entirely sure what he was thinking of, but they've really turned around. In fact, they're leading the clearance battle now. Have kicked the 4 goals from stoppage. So there are some signs here from West Coast, really encouraging signs. I saw a little bit of that fast motion, keep the ball flowing, handball type of game on this near side just moments ago. Certainly in this game, even though it has been largely dominated by the Kangaroos, poor kicking, but also this breeze in the last quarter all goes well for West Coast.
Great execution on the kick from Ryan when so many players have found it tough to kick goals with the breeze from set shots at that end. Oh, he's dumped into the turf and holding the ball to call.
Was there prior?
I think that's getting very close to non-existent to be worried about, to be honest, from what I've seen today.
There still needs to be prior opportunity. I'm
Yeah.
acknowledge that.
Don't know if there's much needed.
Larky had it knocked out of his hands by Edwards and lays a good tackle.
So you're saying it's limited prior.
Yes. Minimal.
Minimal prior still exists.
Away by Flynn. Sitting there with Cherry, Davies Uniacke in there, Graham. And under Scott. Tumbles away. Curtis wrapped up, taken high. Ball not given back to him. On the borderline of a 50.
Yeah, to see how they move the footy here. They've been possessing it.
Curtis just tee up a high ball towards Larky. Good body work against Edwards. Hands to it. Sheasel over the top. Davies Uniacke. Scott back to Sheasel, working in a tight space in that pocket. Scott hooks the kick in, and Owi's back there in defence.
It's a good run, isn't it, from your high half forward to get back and defend. Be in the right spot.
15, so have to keep going. The Eagles with a long ball. Archer Reid, good body work, but carried out the back. Daniel, amongst the tall tipper, was able to gather it nicely and feed a handball back to Sheasel. Archer, forward now to Scott. They drive the ball into the pocket. Constanti was up strongly. Spills through. Davies Uniacke, all the strength and poise in the world. That's a ripping goal.
Is it ever? That was sensational work there from LDU. Let's have a look at it again. The kick coming, it was a nice fly, and then perfect crumbing position here. Let's have a look at this, the power, the drive through the legs to take the tackle on. 1 tackle, 2 tackle, 3 tackles, and the finish. Thank you very much.
I hope we see him as a bit of a forward target and see he's walking to the goal square here this year. I think they've got enough depth now. If he can go forward and kick, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 goals, something like that. I mean, what a season that would be, given what he gives in the middle of the ground. Best and fairest last year.
think about another, the elite midfielders in the competition, all Australian types of players, they do kick 20, 30 goals, and because they spend quite a bit of time up forward as well. I think of Marcus Bontempelli, Isaac Heaney, Chad Warner.
So back to a couple of goals, the margin. Back in the middle, we saw Bergman just warming up there as well. It's a junior with some cramps trying to fight through in this final quarter. It's a good mark from Harry Edwards with the one hand.
Yeah, he's been good today. That's his 4th intercept mark. Played on Larky for most of the day.
And ball forward over the head of Archer Reid, out the back. Waterman. He was looking for a quick reply. Here's Owies. Kicked plenty of goals for the Blues. Can't get that one there.
Nice direct footy, wasn't it? From Edwards, just went whooshka all the way down the centre and cleared everyone, and it gave the Eagles an opportunity.
I think looks like Jeremy McGovern's done for the day. I haven't seen him this quarter. Seen more of Harry Edwards and Ruben Jimby. Bo Allen playing a bit taller.
And you put some of your very best now. If they've maxed out their minutes or at least done enough for round one, put them on ice and make sure they get there.
Yeah.
Older players.
Yeah, Luke Shuey was interviewed just at three-quarter time. You know, basically said if they're good to go, they're good to go. You know, I like that. They've got opening round off, so you're going to need every minute you can against good opposition. Otherwise, you're just sitting around for a weekend. That's what opening round is, creating a bye for a lot of sides in that first round of the year.
Would you like to see a game here in the West, opening round?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I think there's a bit of a miss not having a fixture here, perhaps.
A game here in Bunbury or a game
Optus.
in the West?
In the West. It's at Optus Stadium.
That's sell
on
that
the
out.
Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely.
Prime time, twilight game.
Ball sent long up to the wing. Scott out of play. Good crowd in here though. There's a wider conversation. About 8,000 today, 13.5 for the game coming up in the middle of the year. People are getting sick of me banging on about it, but third team in WA, based down in the southwest, but a Geelong type feel to it.
Absolutely. There's an airport in Bustleton, not far from here. There's an absolute appetite as well for footy. Obviously in this state, so that'll be insufficient intent.
Growing region as well, perhaps the southwest of this state. I know you're a huge advocate for.
I'll put my hand up.
He's the mayor of Bustleton.
I grew up just down the road from here, so I'm a little bit biased with this conversation. But you can see, I mean, this game sold out in an hour. There's kids sitting up on a bus shelter up on the hill there that you might be able to see in the shot as we go past on the wing. But the standing room only really is on top of the bus shelters. It goes to half forward now. Just over 10 minutes to play. The Eagles still close enough. Coleman takes a good mark in defence.
Yeah, he's looked really nice back there. I've mentioned him a few times. Look out.
Dangerous ball with that short kick. Brockman, and they'll poach another goal here. West Coast, they are right in contention, and the crowd finds some voice late. Waterman kicks yet another. He's got 4.
Charlie Comden has been good. Intercepting. No, I was just trying to give you a rap, young man, as you turn that one over.
It was always going to happen, Scully. You've been pumping him up all day, and he turns one over. He has had a good game, just a poor execution on that occasion. And West Coast on their toes. We talked about, that sort of defence at times has been a little bit off that overall team defence in terms of the fans. Have a look at them.
The best seat in the house that's not actually in the house. Sitting up there on the wing.
Could be the best spot ever, actually.
Nice. Braver than me, standing up on top of that out there. Oh, they've got a good view. And a free one as well. So Waterman's got 4.
They're within a goal.
5 points it is. North have dominated this game all afternoon.
Yeah, they have.
And the margin is only 5 points. Back in the middle, Bailey Williams competing against Darling. Harley Reid. A little bit more desperation perhaps now with the game on the line in this last 10 minutes.
See, Matt Owies coming up to this stoppage just there. He's sort of filled that spot behind the ruckman, the half forward. We've seen some interesting tactics at times from both teams with their wingers and half forwards.
He's connected with Kelly. Bergman out there is playing the last 10 minutes of this game. Eagles asking the question.
There was a nice connection with Williams then and Kelly. A little hip tap. Actually told the mids where he was going to put it.
Darling with a handball. Baker lost it. Graham tried to. Darling, terrific.
Melbourne.
Great tackle.
He's been good in the ruck. He has definitely held his own,
Jack Darling, back around your line, 1 metre that way.
both in the ruck contest, but certainly this follow-up work. A couple of little fumbles. Graham, that's the prior opportunity, which is fine. He just had a slight moment and then tackled and rightly was called holding the ball.
15 again on the kick. Daniel able to find it again. Sheasel's touched on the way through. Stevens with a handball over the top. Here go the Kangaroos. Zerha heard the voice. Eagles with numbers though. Win it back. Jaden Hunt always did well not to give the handball because his teammate would have been tackled. Now it's with Brockman as they go through the corridor. Harley Reid. Eagles starting to build. Running in a wave. Baker looking up. Transition footy. Looking good for the Eagles. And they've got numbers strolling past as well. Archer Reid's got the mark inside 50. But again, at times today, West Coast have looked pretty smooth when they've moved it with that sort of pace.
Not sure if we'll have the angle on this, but I think that was a look-away kick by Liam Baker. He basically put off the defenders, looked away. It was a really nice kick. And, yeah, I've liked the look of Archer Reid today.
Been accurate from their set shots so far. That one, not so. In fact, it doesn't even score.
Back to the 9.
Yeah, he's shown enough, hasn't he, Archer Reid? It feels as though Matt Flynn's the one that they're going to go with round 1, and he's the second one.
And Jua over the top with a little highlight. Didn't get a huge lift off, but still able to just sit up there for a couple of seconds. And he can set it back inside 50. The crowd just starting to get right into this towards the end. Lots of bodies fall over at the top of the square. Jaden Hunt is tackled well. We'll get a stoppage. You get another look at Tyrell Jewe's work over the top of Darcy Tucker.
He will take mark of the year.
He's a talent, isn't he?
He is just in his area. He's going.
Knocked down. Flynn creating some room. Reid wanted it. Sheasel away. Kick smothered. Owies had it for a second. Didn't dispose of it correctly. Throwing it away. Now a free kick to the Kangaroos in the back pocket. So how do the teams approach this? It feels like there's a little bit more game on just in this last 7.5 minutes.
You play it like a normal game. You don't get this opportunity ever. This is both of these teams' last opportunity to play in any sort of intensity. So you play to win. You can see the intensity goes up.
And game situation as well. So, later in a game, if you're up or down, you get to sort of practice those scenarios. Really important phase.
Flynn battles with Darling. Down to the front, McKercher. Hustled out of it by Hutchinson. Harley Reid in there. Caught high. And the free kick will go back to Harley Reid.
If space opens up, he could wheel around.
He's got a shot.
You watch this.
He's got the distance.
Sheasel will get moved out of the space here. I reckon he's going to run around and sink it.
Have the words of his assistant coach ringing in his ears from three-quarter time. To go out there and kick a spectacular goal. Might not need to. He's just going to launch it as far as he can. Got good purchase. Flynn down there. Off hands.
He's only had the 4 kicks today, Harley Reid. A lot of it is by hand. 13 disposals in total. Only a couple of clearances, but got a solid enough hit out.
Probably worked his way into the game. And that's like most of West Coast.
What's going on here?
Man.
Still with Powell. They wrestle. And a lot of that today. Bergman. Sheasel. Classic. Just the composure to step out of trouble in that situation. Free kick to the Eagles, though. So they're keeping it locked in their forward half.
Yeah, good territory for the Eagles in this quarter. Been able to lock it in and then hit the scoreboard. Trying to look for this little short pass.
Baker sends it to the pocket. Harley Reid! He was up all so high. And then Jaden Hunt from the pocket. The snap! Highlights everywhere. North have dominated, but remarkably, West Coast hit the front.
Harley Reid almost went into orbit there. Seriously, that was big. It was a good goal by Hunt, a great goal. And Pav, I like what you said. Watch this before I get into it. That could have been massive.
He knew it as well.
Yeah. And they're starting to get a few more exciting players like that. West Coast, that was very big. But have a look at this goal.
That's
You don't mind.
That is outrageous.
It's a really, really good goal.
Do it another 100 times and I'm not sure he's kicking a goal. That is a very difficult kick.
State of game is what you spoke about, Pav, and this is why this is great to play in this. You've been behind the whole game. You're down by 5. You kick a goal. You're in front by a point now. What do you do? Do you slow the ball down? Do you try to score still? This is all stuff that young teams need to learn, and you don't get many opportunities to do it.
And conversely, if you're North, you've dominated the game. You've got that psyche. Just a warning. You've got that psyche in your mind around, okay, what do we have to do? How do we get the ball and the momentum and a score back our way?
So there was a whistle for the wrong numbers, 666. If there had been another warning, West Coast have got that wrong, and that's a free kick to North Melbourne. So they're just little things in games at moments like this that, you get to practice it in a pre-season game.
They're crucial.
Knocked down in the ruck. Davies Uniac tackled well by Kelly. So no genuine attempt. That's the rule adjudication. We've seen a lot today is Reid trying to get the handball over the top. If you're tackled, even if you've got no play, you've got to try to get rid of it. As Hutchinson sends it in, and O'Sullivan back there, the young head with cool shoulders, takes the mark.
The interesting thing from the umpire was that you had one arm free. The problem was his arm free was about to be slammed into the ground. That's the challenging one, I think, for players.
Sheasel. Ball over the top. Stevens will keep it alive. They'll go long up to half forward. Curtis is there with Hoff, worked him out of it nicely. And now the Kangaroos, it's their turn to have to push the agenda of the game, and they find Larkey deep in the pocket.
Nice little loop lead. So he got in behind Edwards, and Edwards was looking for a bit of body, but Larkey just ran a little loop behind him, and then it was a really nice kick from Curtis. It's going to swing hard to the left, isn't it, this one?
Tough kick. Trying to open it up with the snap. Larkey trying to work the angle near side.
So now scores are level. So this has changed the game again for both sides. You're both in score mode here. Yep. So, but 10 seconds beforehand, West Coast are in kill the game mode.
Still enough time, isn't it? 4.5 minutes is plenty of time. That's a nice lead.
Going straight up the middle. The lead was there from Ryan.
That might have been a scenario.
About to run himself into some trouble, but they keep the ball alive. Hoff to Baker. Over the top, Dewar. Escaping to half forward. Reid is on the lead.
So that was one of those scenarios where McGovern was the one in. Looks like he's got a bit of cramp. Definitely cramp for young Archer Reid, but everyone had peeled wide. Liam Ryan was up the middle and just made a beautiful lead.
Jake Waterman will come at this. Yeah, you've got to be ready for that there.
Didn't make the distance on his last shot from this sort of range, and with the cramp in the legs, it's going to be difficult. He's going to let it go. Off the side of the boot, will land in the pocket. Hands to it from Flynn, and it's into the behind post.
So Archer Reid will learn this. He didn't make the distance before. He's cramping up. He's tired. Jake Waterman knew it, and he could see he was going to lead, and he wasn't ready to kick. He was not ready. So he'll get better and better. It was a really good tick lead by him to get it in the first place.
Eagles inside 50. Ryan hit it with pace. Almost took it out of the ruck himself on the boot. It is a score, puts the Eagles in front.
Stoppage work's been really sound after quarter time. 4 goals from stoppage. North Melbourne have had 9 shots at goal from their stoppages, so both pretty effective. Here's a bit of game state again as Archer Reid gets those calves or hammies worked on.
Long ball. Baker put his body on the line. Chopping of the arm, so the free kick goes to Baker. Using his experience to win the ball back.
Harley Reig's had a little word on the way through and pushed hard forward.
So put it on the backman's head again. Let's see if I can take a hanger.
There's a lot of jostling going on down on the goal line. Players wrestling, being thrown to the ground. Baker's going to go for it. as long as he can. He's made good connection. That's the way to warm yourself to your new club and your new fans. Baker from a long range.
Yeah, that's a beauty. You saw all his teammates get around him. First goal he's kicked in West Coast colours. Not quite the real stuff yet, but it's still, as we've been speaking about, game sense. He got himself in a good spot here. They were really high, North Melbourne, so if that ball gets out the back, it's a really dangerous play. We keep banging on about it, Pav, but now 7 points in front. This is kill the game mode for West Coast. Under 3 minutes. There'll be a loose going behind the play. As we see Jake Waterman, when we get a view of the full ground here, Jake Waterman will start on the wing, the back corner of the wing, and push really hard to get behind the footy. And North Melbourne, they are in complete go mode. Front of stoppage, run, carry, half-backs will be going through as well, trying to score.
Longer forward line stretch, so there's a bit of space for the mids to run onto. You can see there, so you got Jamie Cripps on the opposite wing, just to the right of screen there. He's going straight behind the ball. So too, Jake Waterman on this near side.
Eagles by 7 points. Flynn in the ruck opposed to Cherry. Davies Uniac with the clearance. Got it out to Sheasel. Feeds it back. He's slow to get back to his feet too. Davies Uniac in the middle of the grounds. It's out to Bergman. Just a bit of cramp it looks like on the Kangaroo. As Bergman goes long up towards the 50. Jewers down there. Curtis with a good tackle.
Even that kick's going a little bit off the line, just trying to win the game in this situation if you're North Melbourne. Change that angle.
Bergman clobbered by Jimmy. Flying over the top of it, as is Zerha.
So there'll be a lot of players around this stoppage.
And they've rolled their half forwards up, the Eagles. Well, they read a full forward.
Zerha after it. Jaden Hunt on the boot. It's a high clearing kick, Logue. Holds it up. Call to go. And the handball stepped off the line, so instructed by the umpire that he had to keep it moving.
Please, thank you.
Archer.
Play on.
Send a high ball inside 50. Waterman's back there over the top. There's plenty of numbers going for it. Call was the one that was flying for it, the defender. Now it's away into the pocket. It's marked by Darling. He dominated in the first quarter, and now he gets his opportunity.
1 metre. Jamie, 1 more metre. Stand.
The former Eagle trying to keep his new club in it at the death. Snaps it through. It's tight in the southwest.
Great work from the Kangaroos in terms of being able to hit back on the scoreboard. It was the way they were able to take this one. Call's gone forward, so he's gone forward because Waterman's there. Great contest, went for the ball, and then fight for the next one. Scott just throws on the boot, and Darling's in the right place. So, okay, and again, what happens now? Does Waterman go back forward, or is he still going behind the ball? He's coming actually off for a rest, Jake Waterman, but they have to score, the Kangaroos. West Coast trying to kill the game. Another great opportunity to practice what is going to be really important at some point throughout the year.
Both coaches will love this. Yeah, it's not about winning or losing necessarily, but the situations they're getting themselves in here, you just can't replicate this at training.
Impressive CV from his time at West Coast, Jack Darling. Out there, he'll enjoy the fact he's kicked a goal against his old club after 3 misses earlier on. That looked like a throw. Not a handball there from Hutchinson. As it goes forward again, Archer. Not to feed it forward, O'Sullivan. Brockman had a handle on him. Now goes after it again. The Eagles gather and find its way to Kelly now. A minute on the clock, 1 point in it. Eagles go forward. Kelly's kick didn't hit a target. Bergman got back. Reed's in there. Logue played it really well. Cleverly done. Still under pressure. Knocked away from Bergman. Comben now. Is there a chance for the Kangaroos late? High ball. Curtis with the body work. Edwards with the intercept.
This is 5th of the game. Bit of a ruckus behind the play here.
Comben and Jaden Hunt.
Thank you.
As the ball goes long, Comben back to his feet in the pack. Bailey Williams. Jaden Hunt already kicked one ripping goal today. He's tumbling that one towards goal, but it does give possession back now to North Melbourne, and a final chance at it, albeit with only 16 seconds on the clock.
It's down the middle of the ground, this one.
They have to go, North Melbourne. Now with a run and a bounce. Poor kick, went in shallow. West Coast will keep it locked in their forward half. Kelly through his legs. McCurch had it knocked away. Baker kicked one late. The Eagles fans are celebrating. Great atmosphere in Bunbury for this pre-season clash. A strange old afternoon at the footy. North Melbourne dominated, the Eagles dominated the last quarter, and they come away with a 2-point victory.
Yeah, big last quarter, 4 goals, 3 to 2-1, 15 inside 50s to 6. That gives them a lot of spirit and a lot to look forward to ahead of round 1. Talked about them only winning 10 games across the past 3 seasons, the Eagles, and just how important an actual win and practicing under match-like conditions, intensity in terms of the AFL season. Jack Darling saying hello to a number of old teammates, having a laugh, but it was an impressive last quarter, Scott.
Yeah, it was. It was a game of 2 halves in terms of the wind and the way that played the game. North Melbourne tried to possess it when they were against it. West Coast probably just went fast throughout, and at times when they were into the wind, it really hurt them. And it gave up that field position. It gave up the ability to, win that side of the battle. But yeah, I think the highlights, North Melbourne inside, especially early, their composure. They look like they've stepped up a level there, and probably the way West Coast are able to fight out a game, which we haven't always seen that from them over the last couple of years. So the ability to do that, to win, was terrific. And I think, a lot of the younger players for both sides will just get a lot out of that experience. They'll have learnt a lot no matter, which way this game ended, and it was great to see.
Let's get down to Kath Lochner, who's with Jake Waterman and kick forward today.
Jake, great job by you. How would you summarise that game? North dominated large parts, but you got the win.
Oh, yeah, it was a bit back and forth. At the start, I was a little bit worried, but as you can probably tell, there's a howling wind going down one end, so we knew that if we just took our time in the first and third quarters, that, we'd get our go in the second and fourth, and luckily we put a few on the board and got the chockies.
How was that breeze to navigate?
Yeah, I don't know. It was a bit swirly. I was taking the ball drop pretty seriously, but I think they kicked a few points. But it's howling down that way. So we took advantage of that in our quarters, and so did they. But we just got on top.
How beneficial was that close finish to the game and being able to practice those scenarios? I saw you start on the wing and with less than 3 minutes to go and just trying to kill the game. Yeah, it's pretty invaluable, those scenarios, and I went back for probably 25 seconds and got dragged, so don't know if I went all right, but there's plenty of those game style scenarios that we've got to practice going into the season, and we've got a taste test here. And how weird was it looking up the other end, seeing Jack Darling there, and then especially when he kicked that final goal for North? Oh, he couldn't keep the ball off him in the first quarter, but no, I'm so happy for him. He's a legend of our footy club, and what he's done for me, I wouldn't be the player I am without him, and to see him and his family settling into Melbourne pretty well, and he could have had a bag today, but I'm looking forward to seeing how he goes, but hopefully when he comes up against us again, he can just settle down a little bit, but no, I'm so happy for him. You look set for another big year too. Good luck for 2025. Thank you. Thanks, Jake.
Jake Waterman there with Kath down on the boundary. All smiles from both teams. A pretty impressive pre-season hit out in the end in terms of the finish. Nice and close, which means they'll all build up towards round 1 in a couple of weeks' time for both of these teams. But the AAMI Community Series continues, of course, and tomorrow we're heading to the Peel region, stuff from the southwest. Fremantle and Melbourne, both teams with high hopes for the finals on Fox Footy.
All right, there you go, folks. That's it. Game, set, match. What a finish. The Eagles 11-5-71 defeated North Melbourne 9-15-69. Shout out Puss, Wayne, Tina in the house, and of course HKE. Of course, Paul was in here before. G'day to everyone. That is the end. That is absolutely right. We had that poll in the live here. And of course, 58% went for the Eagles. You got that right. Well done, everyone. So there we go. It was all the Eagles. They had the run in that last quarter. came down to like pretty much one kick, but they hung on the Eagles. It was, as Waterman said, it was one of those good scenarios where the Eagles just had to shut down the game the last 3 minutes. You do come up with those close finishes throughout the season, so it's good to get those practice and get your setups right, and they did that very well. 4 goals, 3 the Eagles kicked in that final term to North Melbourne's 2 goals, 1. Well, you would have thought North Melbourne would have been victors today, but the Eagles found a way to get up over the line. Let's just have a quick look before we head off. The final list of the goal scorers in today's game. There were a few, but top of the table, of course, for West Coast was Jake Waterman he kicked a bag of 4. Liam Ryan there with 2, and of course singles to Tim Kelly, Jaden Hunt, Matty Finn, Tyler Brockman, and Liam Baker there for the West Coast, and of course for North Melbourne, the only multiple goal scorer was Paul Curtis, Zukar, Sheasel, Scott, Powell, Larkey, Yukonaki, and Darling, all with singles for North Melbourne. Who finished up on top in the leading possession? Of course, Harry Sneasel. He did a good job there. He finished 10 ahead of anyone else. 36 possessions for the Harry. 16 kicks, 20 handballs, 6 marks, 3 tackles, 8 clearances, 1 goal. Instrumental in North Melbourne and, of course, throughout the season. Caleb Daniel, what a great addition he is to North Melbourne. 26 touches, second on the disposal count. Tom Powell, 25 McCurchy. The best for the Eagles, of course, Tim Kelly there, leading the way with 22. Liam Baker next best, 18. Jack Graham on 17. There we go. That is game, set and match for today. Don't forget, tomorrow there is another game of football happening. And, of course, that's Fremantle and Melbourne, the final pre-season game before the round 1 gets underway next Thursday evening. So tomorrow night, folks, Fremantle take on Melbourne over there in Perth. 6:10 Melbourne time, that kicks off. Hopefully we'll see you here then. Thanks everyone for coming in and listening to this live and watching it live. And for all those who are listening to this on the replay, thanks very much for coming in and listening as well. All right, folks, that's me over and out. Until tomorrow, we'll catch you on the next game, Fremantle and Melbourne. Take care, and so glad footy's back.
Well, more consistent.
More consistent. They didn't kick well early. Like I said during the coverage, if they'd have kicked like Collingwood did in their practice match, they could have been up by 10 goals at half time. So, yeah, I thought North Melbourne coming out of that and their first 4 games, they're winnable games, some of those, which I don't know if we would have thought that 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. I was impressed by what I saw by North Melbourne today, especially their midfield.
They were certainly fancy themselves in that Western Bulldogs match first up, although the Bulldogs were pretty impressive against Hawthorn, even just a couple of days ago.
And tell you what also was impressive, Bunbury. The ground and the fans, they certainly came to watch the footy here in the southwest. 8,000 today. That will be increased to 13,500 when these two clubs meet again, but for premiership points in round 13. So beautiful part of the world and great ground.
It's a great ground. It's in great condition over our right shoulder. This new facility as well, and the fans out here now having a kick. Just brilliant.
Oh, people love it down here. People love their footy. West Coast, Freo, North Melbourne as well.
And we'll be in Mandurah tomorrow for Fremantle taking on Melbourne in the final match of the AMI Community Series, which is exclusive here to Fox Footy. But congratulations to West Coast. Thrilling end to this game. 2-point winners over North Melbourne.